What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Part of the Problem. I'm Dave Smith, and he's Robbie the Fire Bernstein. We are out here in Philadelphia. Great show last night at Helium. Got 2 more shows tonight, 2 more shows tomorrow. Always love this club. Always a great time.
I like this chair. I want to take this home. It's like a Dr. Evil look for me.
It also really does look like the background really makes it look like we're in different rooms, but we're not. This is just the way the hotel room is
It really does look like an optical illusion on there.
It is pretty funny. But so anyway, so we were supposed to the plan was to do like a members only episode.
There's too much chaos today.
We couldn't not record a public episode. If you guys haven't followed, Dan Bongino, the FBI deputy director 5 minutes ago, now, turned podcaster again, he crashed the fuck out on me. I don't know how else to describe it. And anyway, it's very interesting. So I want to kind of go through this whole thing. So this is essentially what happened, right? And me and you, it's funny because we were talking about this on the car ride up here. And the last episode I did solo, you weren't there. So I was like filling you in on what I said on the last episode. And then I was like, we were like, I don't think Dan Bongino's going to respond. I think he's going to try to just ignore it because he does.
He responded.
I got that prediction wrong. Holy shit. Essentially what happened was somebody on Twitter clipped the part of the show where I was talking about Dan Bongino. And, look, obviously, Dan Bongino crashed the fuck out and ended up saying a whole bunch of shit. We'll get into all of that. And the levels of projection are just unbelievable. If there was ever a better example of the old adage that every accusation is a confession, you couldn't believe it. We'll get into that in a second. But now, look, obviously, I was being harsh on Dan Bongino.
He deserves it, though.
But it's above board. Like, obviously, yes, look, is it going to make Danny feel a certain way when I say that his legacy is covering for pedophiles? Sure. But it is. So what, am I not going to say that? But anyway, so I basically, and look, the thing that I was making the point about was just so obvious. I mean, it's just like, look, he's stuck in this position. You either lied then or you're lying now. I mean, it's just undeniable, right? Either you lied then or you're lying now.
Even when he was talking shit about Epstein.
When he was talking shit, he was saying Epstein was tied to foreign intelligence and that there was a pedophile ring and that there were all these files and that we knew all of this. And then he's saying he killed himself. He's not tied to intelligence. There's no sex trafficking, all that. So you either lied then or you were lying now. And we all kind of know you're lying now. You know what I mean? So that's the position. That's essentially the criticism that I made of him. Now, so this guy on Twitter clipped it. And he said everybody should put this in his comments and his replies until he has to address it. And then I saw on Twitter people were saying he's blocking everyone who posts it, and they would all have their screen shares of him blocking everyone. So I'm like, that's kind of interesting. Like, I don't know how in Dan Bongino's albeit not very impressive mind, but in his mind, what he thought he was going to avoid ever having to talk about this or something, like he could just block everyone or something like that. But so then here, I'll read the tweet just so people. So then when I see that he's blocking everybody, he tweets here. Let me find the first one. Okay. He tweets the lib/black pillar symbiote. I don't know that word. Is a funny little organism. It's even led by a quote comedian. And then he goes on to just say this really dumb, post. These morons can't even follow their own battle plan. Quick example. I do a guest hit last night on a podcast and the LBP symbiote, that word again, starts rage tweeting. No one's going to watch. When it was the #1 live stream in its slot, then they melted down, claiming they were just there to attack you. Do these clowns even know how this business works? And when you point out, anyway, so here's this long tweet. So I just responded back. He's clearly talking about me.
I think symbiote is like the Venom character in the Marvel movies, where you're like hijacked by a parasite type thing, and now you're like a hybrid creature. I don't know. Nerds in the chat.
Anyway, seems pretty gay. Anyway, whatever. So I literally just responded back to this. I said, yeah, nice story. Why did you lie through your teeth about Epstein? Just asking a question. Now, I
promise they give him his hairline back.
No, yeah, there you go. Now, I want to say this is one of the things that I found really interesting about this. And we'll get into like all of his responses. Then we're going to play some clips from what he's saying on this show that he's bragging about. Now, by the way, it is true that stream was huge and got huge numbers. It is also true, if you go look through the comment section of it, you have to get through 200 comments of everyone saying you lied about Epstein to get to one comment that's even kind of supporting him. So like, it's not really a brag that like your numbers were good. Like, yes, obviously you were the guy who was one of the biggest shows, said you were going to go get justice for Epstein and 15 other things, completely sold everybody out. And now you're coming back. People are interested to hear the first thing. And also there were questions like, are you going to come back and say something like some real shit? Or are you still essentially an arm of the regime? And that question was answered. But so anyway, but this is what I know I've brought these examples up to you before, Rob, but it's a great example. It was in 2016. Donald Trump's running for president. He's running away with the thing. And Mitt Romney came out, was tapped to give this big speech. Now, Mitt Romney was the Republican nominee from 4 years earlier. And traditionally in politics, at the time, people still hadn't realized that Donald Trump broke traditional politics. Like that doesn't exist anymore. But traditionally in politics, that'd be like a big endorsement, getting the last nominee. So he comes out like, look, however you feel about Mitt Romney, he lost to Barack Obama, but he won the Republican primary that year. They cheated Ron Paul out of it. That's another story. But tens of millions of people voted for him, you know what I mean? And like he was the Republican standard bearer. And he comes out and he goes, guys, anyone else except Donald Trump. It cannot be Donald Trump. Like in the strongest possible language, gives a full speech just ripping Donald Trump apart, his business practices, him personally, what he stands for, all of this stuff. It didn't even kind of move the needle. Donald Trump didn't lose 1 point off of it. The only thing that happened was Mitt Romney lost all credibility and has since been viewed as a joke by the Republican base. There was another example like this that I thought, which was when Jordan Peterson went on Joe Rogan like a couple days after I debated Douglas Murray. And Jordan Peterson is the one who had the most cachet and influence with the young people, who was on the pro-Israel side. To the point that like if you talk to the average 25 to 30-year-old, a huge percentage, like men, if you talk to men aged 25 to 30, a huge percentage of them will say that Jordan Peterson had a profound influence on their life. He comes on to go, guys, some things are out of bounds. You can't have groypers. You can't have anti-Semites. You can't do this. Didn't move the needle 1 point. He just lost all his credibility. And it's something about, and this is something I'm really optimistic about. I'm actually not a black pillar, despite what this idiot Bongino says. There's a real interesting dynamic in the new landscape where it just don't work like that anymore. Like in the same sense where, like, let's say my audience who really likes me, you'd say I've built up a lot of credibility with the ones who really like me. If I were to try to sell out tomorrow, like if I were to try to go, no guys, this is why we have to support this bullshit war, or this is why we have to support this car, or something like that, it wouldn't move them at all. It would just ruin my credibility. Like and so look, when he first says this, he goes, comedian, he's obviously talking about me. And so I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna respond to him. But there certainly was a part of me that I was like, all right, look, I might lose this fight, like in terms of popular opinion. I mean, this is Dan Bongino. He's had one of the biggest shows. This is a guy who's gotten, like I've never gotten anything. He's had $1 million contracts with Fox and Rumble and all this other stuff. Had huge shows.
And the pedophile backing.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the real power structure.
Yeah, but he has the power structure behind him. He was just the deputy director of the FBI. And also he's got like, I think 7 million Twitter followers. Like I don't even have a measly million. And so I was like, whatever, I think I'm right about this. So I'm going to fight him on this. And we'll see how this goes. Dude, I've ratioed him on every goddamn post. The entire internet is talking about his crash out. And this isn't a comment on me, because like with all the times that I've ruined these guys, he did it to himself. It's not like I did it. He decided to spurg out and have this insane reaction. But there is something so fascinating about that, to just watch these guys think like, oh, he's the guy who's got some juice. Nope. You just lost your credibility, dude. I mean, obviously he lost the credibility over fucking lying through his teeth. But like, anyway, I don't know. So I found this to be very interesting that he kind of came out and it's like, nah, dude, the people just aren't following you into battle on this one. Because how can you? It's just so indefensible.
And his firstly, he obviously doesn't want to actually have a conversation on any of these topics, but his diss track, what is it? It's get your shoebox. Suddenly he's concerned about kids, but it's your kids. I mean,
let me read
the internet turned on him quick on that one.
Well, let's read through this a little bit. So this is how he responds. By the way, literally all I said, and I'm calling him a liar. He is a liar, but like I said, yeah, nice story. Why'd you lie about Epstein? Like I'm just doing what he told me to do, which is never let up. Right? That's what he told me to do.
Because you're not blackpilled. And you're still optimistic.
That's right. There
about
you go.
That we're going to get justice for the victims and expose the deep state.
There you go. Okay, so I said, yeah, nice story. Whatever. Why'd you lie about Epstein? This was his first response, which is just listen. I'm sorry, guys, but it's like I know I repeat this a lot, but it's goddamn surreal being me. This is the deputy director of the FBI 5 minutes ago. Hilarious that you not only missed the news cycle for the last year, pretty sure we caught it, but that you also knew you were the moron referenced in the post. Watching you advertise your dipshittery on a series of debates over the past year was my guilty pleasure while I was working. No, now go back to your mama's spare room and write me some jokes and get your shine box too. My shoes got a scuff last night while lighting up the live stream while you clowns were rage posting. Thanks, Dan. Now, dude, just every inch of this is like just the weirdest cringe, down to saying Dan at the end of it. Like it's your tweet, dude. You don't need to sign your name to it. And the shine box reference that the Goodfellas reference that he goes to again in his next tweet. I mean, a lot of people pointed this out, but it's pretty funny. It's like, did you stop the movie at that line? Have you not made it through the rest of it? Because this is a weird character to decide to be. It's like the guy ends up getting stabbed to death in a trunk. So like, okay. But again, I mean, it's just so pathetic, dude. Like, what type of response is this? And first of all, what a weird admission that he was watching my debates and all of this. It's like, okay.
He had time for that with his 9-to-5 job over at the FBI.
But dude, didn't you have to be at work at like 8 a.m?
Yeah.
And you couldn't bring your wife with you? And you still had time to watch my debates? And so, okay, so I so then obviously I got to keep responding to this now because it's Dan Bongino. So then, okay, sorry. So let me find this here. So then I posted challenging him to a debate. He of course didn't respond to that. And then well, I guess the next one, I guess that was the last one yesterday, right? And then today I woke up this morning and I went on Twitter. I mean, I think I woke up at like 7 a.m. this morning. I went and got coffee and called home, talked to the family and stuff. And then I like opened Twitter like around 8 a.m. And he posted this. Dan Bongino said, your family and kids must be ecstatic that their name is Smith so they can blend in with the millions of other Smiths out there and pretend they don't know you. Imagine being dumb enough to post what you just did publicly and then pretend it isn't copium. You're scared. I can smell you from here. Now go get your shine box like I told you. Again. So, I responded, holy fucking crash out. Are you seriously posting about my children at 7 a.m.? I said, who got ordered to go lie to the public and said, yes, sir. Scared? Come see me, bitch. I'll end your career and you know it. Run away, little girl. So like, okay, I'm talking shit, but he started talking shit. I'm talking shit back to him. I'm fucking intimidated by Dan Bongino. And then he tweeted this, which I got to say, this is the one that a lot of people
he went worse than kids.
No. This is what he said. He goes, tell your family to blink twice if they need my help. I'll get right over there. Which is a fucking weird thing to say. Now, listen, I want, for everybody out there, a lot of people on the internet were saying, this is a threat You know what I mean? Like, this is an FBI guy, and he's intentionally invoking your family and then saying, I'll be right there. It's a thinly veiled threat. But guys, calm down. Dan Bongino is saying that if my kids are in trouble, he'll stand up for children. And we all know when he says that, he's lying. So he won't follow through on it. So don't you guys worry. My kids are just fine. Dan Bongino ain't doing shit. So everybody can relax. Now, look, again, like I said, he's getting fucking ratioed on this. He is like the reaction. It just could not have gone worse for him. But what can you say about all of this, dude? It's like, think about the levels of projection here. Think about first of all, you see how fucking like insecure he is. He can't take a little bit of being called out before he has to snap into being as vicious as possible. Another thing is like, I got a thick skin for viciousness, and I'm better at being vicious than Dan Bongino is. So like, come on, keep going, dude. It's just so easy to like play it back. Like, dude, really, Dad? Like, I'm the bitch. I blink twice if you need help. Who are we talking about here, Dan? We all watched your hostage video when you said Epstein killed himself. You're the one who fucking like literally got told like a boy to go out and lie and then fucking did it because you're that much of a bitch. With this talk of protecting children, your legacy is protecting pedophiles. You're just not in any position to come fucking police this space. Sorry, dude. It's not going to happen.
Also, this is what, day one of Dan Bongino out of the FBI. So this is going to ramp up. This is just round one, baby.
There's something about the age we live in, man, where people are getting exposed. When people were always full of shit and then people didn't see through it, thought they were the real deal. And then they find out that, oh no, you were full of shit the whole time. There are so many people like this. So many people who were like respected figures just a few years ago who have like their credibility has gone to zero. And Dan Bongino might be the best example out of all of them.
You think he tops Fauci?
No. Fair point. No, he doesn't top Fauci. Probably nobody tops Fauci.
So you're saying as he reemerges into the conservative marketplace for news and he backed the regime on not investigating Epstein, he might get treated like a Fauci figure where people are dismissive and
honestly, even as I say it, it's up there. It's almost as bad as Fauci, because like the thing is that it's not that Dan Bongino sat there and then and said, we're going to get to the bottom of Russiagate. We're going to get to the bottom of Epstein. We're going to get to the bottom of election fraud. We're going to get to the bottom of all this stuff, and then didn't do anything. Like, that would be one thing. That would be like you failed. But that's not what he did. He actively covered up the Epstein case. So he didn't fail. He exposed himself as the deep state. He was the anti-deep state guy and then proved you're the deep state. And I mean, look, the guy was a Secret Service agent and then an FBI
what an inside baseball diss that he's at Fauci levels of credibility.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I think so. I think, and look, I do think this was like a good example of it today. And he particularly, like, he disgusted a lot of people in his own base who are like, yo, what? I mean, like, look, it even writes itself. It's like, dude, where was all this heat for the fucking deep state criminals, dude? Oh, your beef is just with me. Your beef is with a comedian who called you out for your bullshit. And look, he knows I'm sitting here challenging him to debate. He's spending all this time talking about me. He knows he won't do that. I will fucking Chris Cuomo that dude if he ever steps into an arena with me. And I wasn't fucking scared of Chris Cuomo. I'm not scared of him, dude. I'll do exactly the same shit that I did to Chris. And he knows he doesn't want it.
And so what is his message? That Trump is saying that everything's wonderful. So for everyone in the conservatives who have concerns with these wars that Trump's flirting with, we're creating panic and division amongst the Republicans. So it's like a Ben Shapiro thing.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they just have nothing. Here, hold on. If we wanna, let's hold on one second. Let me check the.
We're blackpilled if we're concerned with the American debt, increasing government spending, the fact that Donald Trump wants to lower the interest rate, now wants to prop up homes so that the boomers can sell them. at their high prices.
It's all okay. So here, let's to give him a shot here. Let's play the clip. The Breaking Dan Bongino just went nuclear on the anti MAGA complainers and black pillars. Let's play that clip, and we'll see what does Dan Bongino have to say in this stream that he was bragging about doing numbers in.
Endless complaining, then just don't watch the shows. It's okay. Like, this is a constitutional republic. You're not obligated to listen to my show. Justin, what was the line on the air with Jim? It's not a freaking airport, man. You don't have to announce your departure. Like, you get these black pillars. The thing about black pillars, where everything sucks all the time, is like, well, we're demanding accountability, but you're not great. So am I. That's not you're endlessly complaining about things you don't know anything about. Like, that's all you do. Like, he'll shut down the border, 10 people across the month. Why wasn't it 0? Okay. Well, can you just
pause it? Pause it already right there. Has anyone ever once made that complaint? Show me one example of anyone ever. What a bullshit fucking straw man. Has anyone once ever said that? We all acknowledge they did a good job with the border. Hey, by the way, Dan Bongino, you're not Tom Holman, are you? You were at the FBI. What the fuck are we talking about? They're demanding accountability. Good. I'm demanding accountability too, but you don't even know what you're talking about. Dan, then by admission, you didn't know what you were talking about when you were saying the same thing before you went in. I'm just saying the same thing you were saying. Nobody is saying the fucking border, 10 people getting through the border means you're not doing a good job or whatever. Because it is universally accepted that, like, yeah, Trump got control of the border. I've said it even when I was on Theo Vaughn's show the other day. I said it on almost every show that we do. If I'm assessing Trump, you got to at least start by, I admit that. He did a good job on that. The people aren't flooding in the way they were under Biden. We're mad that you covered up the Epstein scandal. You're going to talk about everything except that? It's just too ridiculous.
It's Epstein and flirting with these wars and the spending. And all of these are fair criticisms.
Yeah, that's right. And again, like, they don't take on any of those. It's just this complete made up thing that nobody's ever said. And again, like, oh, just the black pillars who just always want to complain. Like, what is this other than just another way of saying, I don't want to hear criticism for my track record over the last year? That's all you're saying.
It's also unclear to me if, in part us, but there's an environment now where war is so unpopular that Donald Trump has been relegated to these targeted strikes and would be going for more. And he's still flirting with an Iran situation.
No, I mean,
and Venezuela. So we'll see how it plays out. But the idea that people criticizing what they don't like doesn't change what the administration can get away with. And then I don't know. It's just this has been the thing since day one with conservatives of you got to give Trump a chance. It's 4D chess. Don't criticize. And it's like, if he's doing something that I don't like, that's this job is to call it out. And I actually do think it has an impact and that it educates people. And then sometimes people realize, oh, that's bad policy.
Yeah. And then again, like, just tell me how by this own logic, this idiotic logic, if it can be classified as logic, how does this not also apply to Dan Bongino and everything you did?
Well,
were you a black pillar about Biden? Like, what does this mean? Like, were you like, you were saying the same shit about Russiagate and about Epstein and about, you were saying the same shit that we're all saying. The difference, what's been revealed, is that we mean it and you don't. And by the way, I got my sources, man. Like, at this point in my career, I know a lot of people who are very close to the administration. Obviously, Dan Bongino was in the FBI. He's got more information than I have, but I have it on pretty goddamn good authority that he was active in the cover-up. Like, he wasn't just like Dan Bongino wasn't just what I said before, so I probably should almost amend that. He wasn't just like the bitch who got told to go cover it up. He was actively in on it. Not so. My suspicion is that he was a fraud the whole goddamn time. And so again, just good luck with this line of argument.
And it's also, I guess he thinks instead of political pundits, we should all just be cheerleaders. That's really what he's advocating for, is that everyone should change what they're doing on their shows and not criticize what they don't agree with, but instead just cheerlead what the administration's doing.
Imagine I went into
an adult cheerleader.
Yeah, that's right. A grown male cheerleader like Dan Bongino. It's like if I went into government and then supported socialism and then came out of government and went, what's with all these people talking about liberty shit on podcasts? This is crazy. Like, oh, good luck, Dan Bongino, with this recovery. Here, let's keep playing.
It's a big deal that way, and there's a cost to that, and the cost you see is in polling numbers around the midterms. You can't let this negative vibe constantly set in. That doesn't mean healthy debates about policy are not welcome. Hey, I'm not
here. Pause it. So then listen. Now this is the other thing that they do. Oh my God, it's so good. So first of all, just watch the trickery and just literally, guys, for a second, just think about how stupid this argument is. What he's saying. He goes, there's a cost to all you guys complaining about this. And the cost is, look at the poll numbers. We're going to get killed in the midterms. Oh, it's our fault. It's our fault that you guys took the greatest political opportunity in modern American history when the Democrats were absolutely defeated, down and out on the mat. The Democrats had a 24% approval rating after they pretended that Weekend at Bernie's guy was sharp as a tack and then ran the dumbest bitch in the history of politics. They were humiliated for a generation, and you guys fucked up so bad that they're going to win at the end of this year. And that's our fault. That's our fault for criticizing you guys. You, like, the nerve of you, motherfucker. You buried a story about a pedophile. I mean, dude, are you not afraid of God? Like, I mean, the guy, he's going to tell me, going to look at me and say that my children are embarrassed of me because I'm a podcaster who's an anti-government guy. That's such a shame for their kids to live with. You covered for pedophiles actively. There's probably a bunch of them who are still at large right now because of you, Dan Bongino. If I ever did that, literally, dude, just thinking about doing something like that terrifies me to my core that my son would grow up and know that one day.
I don't know. I can smell the black pills on your breath, buddy.
Oh yeah,
had too many for breakfast.
So he's saying, so it's our fault that you guys blew this political opportunity and are going to get creamed in the midterms this year. But then he goes, healthy debate is okay. I'm not a tariff guy. Oh, well, thank you, Dan Bongino. I didn't realize tariffs are something we can have a debate about, but not burying the Epstein files. Thank you. I didn't realize, Dan Bongino, you were in charge. Dan Bongino, do me a favor, and I mean this very sincerely, okay? Just be clear, man. Like, look, we're all the dumb black-pilled people, Dan. So I'm talking right to you, into the camera, okay? Make a list of the things that we are allowed to debate, and then make a list of the things that we're not allowed to debate, and then crumple that list up and shove it up your fucking ass. No one cares if you decide tariffs are okay. What? Tariffs are okay, but the wars aren't? The Epstein files aren't? Suck a dick, Dan Bongino. I'm sorry, dude. Like, what are you talking about here?
It feels like COVID censorship, where this is like the questions you're asking will create vaccine reluctance or whatever terminology they're using at the time.
Yeah, vaccine hesitancy.
Yeah.
Right?
This feels like the same thing, that even if you have reasonable criticisms, there's the consequence to you guys not actually enacting an agenda of being America first is that people are going to criticize you for that. And yes, the consequence of that is that you will lose the midterm elections because what you're doing is not actually representing the people that you made promises to. And you know what you could do? Instead of complaining about people complaining, you could listen to the complaints, maybe address some of the problems, which would be Epstein transparency, I guess the economy, but I don't really think Trump's plans for that are going to help at all. But there's definitely war reluctance. There's definitely support for Middle East reluctance.
Dude, Donald Trump is, as of right now, this moment, okay, Donald Trump is, as we've talked about, the goalposts for Iran have now moved from, it started with this, right? It started with Donald Trump saying, I will not allow Iran to get nuclear weapons, okay? Then the goalpost went to, I will not allow them to enrich up to 60%. Okay. Then the goalpost went to intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now the latest don't shoot a protester. Now it's just how they treat their own people is now the pretext for war. Donald Trump has claimed that we are going to run Venezuela. Okay. And we're going to be determining who the next regime there is. And Donald Trump just asked the Pentagon just asked the Congress for a $1.5 trillion defense budget. Now, the only reasonable explanation for why you would ask for that is that you're gearing up for a major war. Just to understand, right? When the budget was at 800 billion or whatever it was, that is the biggest defense budget in human history. Donald Trump asked for a $1 trillion defense budget, blowing that out of the water. Now he wants an additional $500 billion. So like, hey, Dan Bongino, I'm not going to limit the conversation to tariffs. We're also going to talk about this.
You see, I don't necessarily see it as Donald Trump wanting more war or gearing up for war. I think it's part of his plan to spend more than any other president ever. And so, you know, if you're going to go for your golden goose of spending, it's the War Department.
Mm-hmm. He certainly has. And remember
making the country great again as we're having economics problems requires a lot of government spending.
Yeah, that's right. And look, I mean, again, he's just the whole administration is so vulnerable on all of this shit because it's I get so many promises, man. So do you remember the tariffs were going to generate so much revenue that we were going to abolish the income tax? Oh, sorry. Best I can do is you still got to pay the same exact taxes and everything's more expensive this year. And the tariffs aren't bringing in really any revenue. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just the whole thing's a goddamn disaster. And then it's so funny. Just the logic of going, the administration's a disaster and now we're losing. And the problem is that people like me pointed out that it's a disaster. Ugh. Here, let's keep playing.
Said that 1,000 times. Debating policies are fine. I think a lot of the so-called damage from the tariffs was dramatically over-exaggerated. Even people who don't like them having to acknowledge that now. The economy's motoring, 4% growth. But the black pill complaining and whining all the time about the administration, it's just like, man, what team are you on? Holy Moses, man. So you don't
pause it. I can answer that. Dan Bongino, I'm on the team that doesn't protect pedophiles. Not your team.
There you go.
Not your team. What type of fucking retarded argument is this? What team are you on? Like, what? So that's it? This is sports now? This is just shirts versus skins and I got to just cheer? Like, because come on, what team are you on? I'm on the team that isn't for starting reckless, unnecessary wars of choice, isn't for drowning my children's generation in debt, isn't for debasing our currency, and doesn't protect pedophiles, doesn't protect criminals in the deep state. That's the team I'm on. And anybody who wants to be on that team, I'm more than happy to have you on that team. Okay? I'm on the team with you if anybody stands for that. And you know what? By the way, this is what's so goddamn infuriating about this, right? Especially from my perspective. And like, you know, obviously Dan Bongino and these guys don't know anything about this, but like, as you know, I took a lot of heat from libertarians for supporting Donald Trump and supporting Kash Patel and supporting Dan Bongino. When you told me you were for no new wars and for cutting government spending and for, you know, like all these things, I went, okay, then I'm on your team. But then when you, sold out and demonstrated that you were always full of shit and never really believed any of that, well, now we're not on the same team anymore, dude. And what type of argument is it to go, oh, the people complaining? What team are you on? How about take on one of the complaints and one of the real ones, not the one about the border that you just made on. Take on the complaint. The only argument here would be like, if you're saying you're complaining when it's not a justified complaint.
There's also something very circular about complaining about people complaining.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That is a weird point. You're Dan, stop complaining about
there's so much complaining, and we got to get rid of the complaining. I'm very upset of all these whines from these other people.
Yeah, no, you're right. That is a good point. There is a real performative contradiction going on there. I don't know. Is there any more of that, or was that basically the end of it?
It's okay. There's a door. You know, go find the freaking exits because I don't really give a shit. I'm not here for anybody's money or anything like that.
I already got my money from the deep state, so I'm good.
Yeah, really.
I collected my paycheck. Now I'm just trying to do this other job where I gaslight you and pretend everything's awesome along with Trump.
Dude, it's so bad, dude. It's so bad for him because it's also just sitting there going like, I don't even care. Like whatever, I don't even care. While you're spurging out on Twitter, like, dude, you care so much. Like, I guarantee you, he's watching this show and it's making his blood boil. Right now, Dan, you're watching the show and you're upset, and we all know it, and we're all laughing at you. So anyway, stop talking about my fucking family, you goddamn weirdo. And so what a weird thing too, to just like, it's like he just did it to himself. Why? Like, first of all, look, just as a basic line of decency, and I'm the comedian, I'm the fucking nightclub act here. He's the deputy director of the FBI, right? But I'd say I never really talk about anyone's kids. A weird line to cross to even like go on there. But like, you're the deputy FBI director, and the beef, he saw the clip of me, he was blocking everyone who posted it. The beef is over Epstein. Like, you're invoking children when the thing is all about Epstein. What a weird, like, own goal for you to like even bring this shit up. And also, I mean, it's just, it kind of just gives me license to be as vicious as I want to be now. Like, all right, you're going to talk shit about my kids. I mean, I could now talk shit about your fucking hairline or whatever. You know what I mean? That's not as bad as this. I don't know. This shit is not like this is what he's got. He was sent back pretty clearly to me as an agent of the regime to try to go in and like be like, hey, we got to roll back the tide from the black pillars, aka the people who criticize the Trump administration's demonstrable failures. And this is what he's got. This is the argument. See, the thing about it is that Dan Bongino, much like a lot of these guys, he's always been this way. He's kind of a lunkhead. Like, he's not really like an impressive thinker or anything like that. But what he would do is he'd get on the right side of a lot of big issues. And that's how he got his credibility, is he got on the right side of the Epstein issue and the right side of Russiagate, and probably, I don't remember, probably was good on the Ukraine war. And then he would, I remember he really went down the conspiracy rabbit hole about the Secret Service allowing Donald Trump to get shot there, you know? But it's like, okay, so that's what people liked about you. Now you think you're going to be able to come back being the opposite guy, being the guy who says, no questions about any of this shit. Good luck, man.
Well, the Bongino crash out coverage will continue here on Part of the Problem.
Oh, dude, we're not letting up on this now. This is going to be, listen, Dan is not, and this is the truth, dude. And then it's another thing, like, it was just kind of funny, is that he's talking shit. What did he say to me? He said, I'm scared. He can smell me. He can smell my fear or something like that. And then, again, the whole thing is entirely projection. I'm sitting here and saying, hey, Dan, come see me. Like, let's sit down face to face and do a live debate. Like, I'm not scared of shit, dude. I remember when I went into the Chris Cuomo debate, I was like, I remember thinking to myself, I'm gonna make him try to fight me. Like, I'm gonna make him angry enough that he's gonna fight. And it's like, and if it does, then we're fighting, dude. I don't care about that. Same with Dan Bongino, man.
These I'm not tough fights.
Yeah, listen, I don't give a shit about any. These guys are all fucking pussies, dude. And these guys are. It's all ridiculous. Dan Bongino talking shit. You're like a bald fucking 58-year-old man. No, you're not fighting anyone. But I'm just saying, like, dude, I'm not afraid of this. You know you won't do it. There's no way he will. There's no way he'll do this debate. It would go so bad for him. So, like, okay, dude, but like, I don't know. Now I get to, since you talked all this crazy shit, now I'm just going to demonstrate that to everybody, that you're the one who's scared of this. You're the one who's scared to talk about it. Because look, I mean, think about the case that I'm making right now, and look at the clip we just played of him. How can this debate possibly happen? It's Cuomo. The best he'll be able to do is, I never said that. And then, okay, here's the tape of you saying that.
Maybe, I mean, I have no authority to say this in any capacity. Maybe you could goad him with a Rogan invite and have another one of those.
Dude, if Joe's down to do it, I'll do it in a second.
Yeah,
dude.
the Joe Rogan episode with you and Dan Bongino addressing the government's handling of the Epstein case.
Dude, I swear to God.
I mean, he could put to rest all the black pillars out there on the biggest show with the biggest audience.
Dude, I will get on a plane after our shows tonight and go do this tomorrow morning and fly back here to make my shows tomorrow.
I mean, that assumes Rogan would do it, but yeah.
Well, I don't know. Well, look,
talk about a big show.
Listen, I'll just say this. If Dan Bongino had the stones to come face me If he could work up all the courage he has and come see me, there is no shortage of people who would be thrilled to host that debate. And it would, I could just, if you're rattling off the names of all the people you could think of, that Pierce Morgan or Patrick Bet-David or Joe Rogan or whoever, like if you went through that list, a whole bunch of them would be down to do this. And everybody knows it would be huge. It would be a ginormous show that would get millions and millions and millions of views. So, hey, man, Dan Bongino, if you're the big tough guy who talks a big game and you can smell fear, you can smell my fear from where you are, step up, homie. Like, dude, listen, you're going to talk shit about my kids. You're going to say you're the big tough guy and you can smell my fear. And you're also saying that what you want to do here is gatekeep the black pillars. Okay, well, you got an opportunity in front of millions and millions of people to come do it.
I think we could even call the event Treating America's Black Pill, and that he has the opportunity to have the floor and put to rest all of the negativity, or you have the opportunity to prove that there's still optimism, that we can take down the deep state if we can expose characters like him who are pushing the Epstein thing down the drain.
Listen, dude, this is a binary here. One of two things happens. Either what's going to happen, Dan Bongino will now run away like a little girl, and he will absolutely never see me. Or two, I Chris Cuomo him in a debate. Those are the options here. What's a better white pill than that? This is, no matter what, this is fucking fantastic.
Look at how optimistic we are.
But like, I don't know. There's also something like there is just like, I mean, if you want to say like complaining, it's like,
we're Jews. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, it's in our DNA.
Define our heritage.
Well, like, it's also like, first of all, I'm not black-pilled. Then there's a big difference between complaining about something and being pessimistic. Those are not the same thing. But also, like, what does it really mean? It's like I said before, like, all of these are just different tactics to be like, you're not allowed to oppose this. Like, what does that mean? Complaining? Like, what if I had come to, like, again, how does all of this shit not apply to Dan Bongino? If I had come to Dan Bongino and just been like, man, your coverage of the Biden administration, you're just always complaining. What type of counter is that? He's like, yeah, well, they're ruining the country. What, are we not supposed to oppose that? Like, complaining is just another way of saying being opposed to a thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm opposed to you guys destroying the greatest country in the history of the world. And it's the one that my kids got to grow up in. So
without blinking.
Yes. And now everyone they can't blink, or Dan Bongino's going to be at my house.
Or the FBI is going to take your kids away from you if they're outside blinking.
Jesus Christ. There's no insurance. There should be no, I can't either. Okay. That's good. Oh, it looks like actually just got a text from that Dinesh D'Souza debate is confirmed for Thursday afternoon. I'll be debating him. That's great. Really looking forward to that one. All right, let's go to,
and that's going to be on Zero Hedge, everybody.
Zero Hedge, moderated by the great Judge Napolitano. I can't be too complimentary about Judge Napolitano now. It seems like I'm just kissing the ass of the moderator, but I really do love Judge Napolitano. Okay, so let's do. Hold on. Wait, what was the one? Here, let's play the clip. I love this. It's the one that's my tweet. If you find this weird, that just means you're black-pilled. This was the old Dan Bongino. These are just the ones you've seen before, but I just figured like we should put this in the episode. This is when Dan Bongino was asked about what's a cause that's dear to your heart.
That's right. What cause is dear to your heart?
Cause is dear to my Israel. Defense of Israel.
What is number one? That's right. What cause is dear to your heart?
This is just like a one-off thing where he's on a podcast and he's getting asked questions. But is it not? It's like, isn't this all like they're all in? It's like the old George Carlin, like it's a big club and you ain't in it. But like, what weird world? What cause is dear to your heart? Imagine, and the first thing you say is the defense of a foreign country. Like nothing about your own country came to mind. Just think a cause that's dear to your heart. Like just think about how many you would rattle off that would all be related to the United States of America. Like, why? I'm sorry. It's not black-pilled. It's not conspiratorial. It damn sure ain't anti-Semitic to just say that, like, no one should be in our government if that's what your first thought is of, like, what's a cause that's dear to your heart? Israel. And then it's like, I'm sorry, dude, but first of all, Dan Bongino's on record saying that Jeffrey Epstein was Middle Eastern intelligence. Okay? Like, you said that, motherfucker. Were you lying then, or are you lying now?
That was when he was black-pilled.
Yeah, that's when. That's when he was black-pilled. That's before he got white-pilled. Being white-pilled is when you just sell out. So like, it's like, oh, okay, interesting though. The guy who says Israel is his top issue is the one who buries the story about the guy who he himself had acknowledged was Israeli intelligence.
That was before he saw the footage of him killing himself.
Yeah,
of which I guess is the missing minute that none of us got to see.
Yeah, which is in the files. By the way, also, here, let's we'll play the other thing, the other clip here too, because it's just let's play the other clip, which is the one, the famous one with him and Kash Patel talking about blink if you need help. Blink if you need help. Play this other clip.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. Again, you want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
I know it's hard work.
Okay, so let's just look at this again. Fucking blink if you need help. God damn, you fucking hypocrite. Okay, so let's get this clear, right? Dan Bongino said, I've seen the whole file. Which is an interesting way to put, I've seen the whole file. How many documents are there now, Rob, that have been declassified?
Apparently, they're working on releasing another 5 million that they just rediscovered after they did their initial release.
So, like, what do you mean you've seen it?
That's why all their eyes are so weird. It's because they've just been trying to read through 5 million pages.
You know what? I take everything back. It all makes sense now. Oh my God, poor Kash Patel. Is that what happened? You have to read 5 million documents. Does it do that to your eyes?
That's what I
5 million documents. All right, I can make just think about this. All right, think about how obvious the lies are here. He's claiming he's seen the files, so he knows for a fact that he kills himself. These files are declassified now. Where are they? And now they're saying it goes from 1.7 million to we found another 1 million to we found another 5 million documents. Are you claiming you read 5 million documents? Maybe you just read the 1.7 million? Like, what, because like, unless you can say that or whatever, I mean, I guess you don't need to read all of them. Where's the one that's the proof that he kills himself? Do you ever have to elaborate on that? Do you, like, I don't know. I guess I find this whole thing fascinating because really, again, ironically here, Dan Bongino just gets everything wrong. This is such a white pill to me. The fact that Dan Bongino's getting destroyed over this is such an incredible white pill. But white pill just means being optimistic for people who don't know the lingo. But like, it's like, Dan Bongino was sent to return to the new, like the nucleus of where the new media action is. You know, it's not the old legacy media anymore. It's the internet. It's the podcast scene. And you just can't lie like this here. You can't be successful being a liar here. Like, this is such an enormous white pill. Dan, you should have gotten a contract at Fox News, man. You could go be successful at Fox News. I mean, not when I say successful, they'll pay you a lot of money. People won't really watch your show. But like, you could go do that. Here, I don't know, dude. How do you think? So you think you're going to be able to come back into this world, start policing, gatekeeping? He's openly talking about this. Like, on Twitter, these are all his tweets about how gatekeeping is actually really important and all of this. So you think you're going to get to do that? But here's the thing, like around these parts now, if you want to do that, you got to take on the other side. You got to either sit down and debate someone who's competent, who's on the other side from you, or you got to make really compelling arguments at least. You think you're going to sit here and lay down this bullshit and that's going to convince anybody? Like, dude, again, it's just such a funny, it's such an interesting dynamic where it's like it's like the fucking Matrix. Like they're sending out all of their Agent Smiths to stop the bleeding, but every time a new one comes, they just get taken out. Like you can't stop this, dude. Toothpaste is out of the tube. Liars like Bongino are getting exposed.
Yeah, he'll keep sitting there with I give you the Dan Bongino guarantee.
Yeah, there you go. All right. I don't know. Is there any more destruction of Dan Bongino required for today? I think that pretty much covers it.
I feel like that was just round one, and hopefully he doesn't give up on broadcasting, and maybe we continue to get under his skin, and he keeps, well, I will tell you, showing his cards, and we'll keep telling you he showed his cards.
Well, it's what's interesting is that he kind of reminds me of what happened with me and Scott Horton after we did the David Wormser episode. One of the things that was kind of funny and I must say kind of amusing in like a guilty pleasure type way is just like how rattled he is. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously a real insecurity, and I'm sure on some level it's because, well, it might be because he has a guilty conscience, but I think on some level it's like the machismo thing where it's like I got the big dick around here, I'm the guy, and just being like, nah, dude, you got no juice now. Like, congratulations. And it's anyway, it's been fun. So in a weird way, I almost feel like thankful to Dan. Like, yo, dude, you really should have just ignored this. It's so stupid. This was such a bad way to play. Again, the thing is, like, he's actually not that bright. So like he just didn't really like think this through. But with all of these guys, I mean, I remember thinking like, when Cuomo agreed to debate me, or even when Douglas Murray agreed to debate, I remember just being like, that's a mistake, dude. I would not advise that. And if they could go back in time, they would not, like they would take it back and not do it. So like, anyway, I don't think we're going to get this one. That's my guess. I don't think Dan Bongino will have the balls to actually do it. But that doesn't mean we can't, keep pushing for it and exposing them for that. And yeah, but challenge issued anytime, any place. Let's go. Well, let me say that.
Losers
anytime with some security concerns. I'm not just meeting you on your territory.
Losers got to shine the other one's shoes.
Ooh.
Done by we'll pull the internet on winner loser.
Dude, I'll say this.
Yeah,
dude, we could poll the internet after the debate. If I don't get 80%,
you're giving a spread. How are you gonna police for bots or whatever else might sway that vote?
Honestly, I'm gonna win so dominantly that it was. Patrick David had a poll out. I think if I'm remembering the numbers correctly, it was like 30,000 people voted in it, and 97% said I won in the Chris Cuomo debate. 80, you ain't gonna get enough bots, Dan. 80%.
Wow. That's I mean, talk about the pussy he'd have to be to walk away from that. We'll set it up on one of the biggest platforms the whole internet can watch. And if you don't get 80%,
Rob. Oh, I smell Dan Bongino's fear. I smell his fear from here. How are you going to say no to that one, dude? I don't get 80% of the poll. I'll shine your shoes on camera.
All right.
All right, guys. That's our episode for today. Hope you enjoyed this one. Catch you next time. Peace.